So we're live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by your Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am. Who am I? Yes, I am the other host, Paul. I've normally got someone else to take the piss off by now, but I haven't. It's just me and Sammy. It's been a while since it's been just me and Sammy. And now
Been a
Sammy, I
while.
was going to say Sammy was going to sing the song there.
Free time.
Yeah.
Which is a Kevin Smith thing, by the way. I did get it from him.
All right. Explain.
Yeah, on his podcast, if anyone said been a while, he'd always go, it's been a while.
Right. So basically everything we do in this podcast world, in podcast land, we rip off Kevin Smith. So yes.
Pretty much.
Thank you, Kevin, our Lord and Saviour. And the offer is still there. If you ever want to come off the podcast, I will get down on my knees and do whatever I can to make it happen. If you haven't realised, we're not live today because I'm out this evening. So while you're watching this, I'll be out in Newcastle partying. So, haha. It's about time me having a social life.
Yeah. It's about time.
Yes.
Get out. Enjoy the world. Enjoy Newcastle.
Enjoy Newcastle. So yes, I'll be seeing the lovely Katie tonight from the Who Did What Now podcast. Is that, or Who Said What Now?
Nope.
I did it right.
Nope.
I always get confused with that one. But yeah, she's doing a stand-up performance, which, like I say, with I think she said she's going to be telling horrible histories on Newcastle or the Northeast in general as well. So that'd be quite interesting. I'll give you a full review later. So lovely Sammy, do you want to do the lovely disclaimer?
Let's do it. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page. Come and join us in the Discord or even the comments section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So, let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of a nerdism.
Yes, very much so. Maybe not the Discord. They're full of creepy bastards in there. Like some of the weirdest people I've ever met. Yes. I'm looking at you, Chris. I'm looking at you, Lee. Even Beth, you're a psychopath in the waiting. Just saying.
Yeah. Serial psychopath.
Yeah, we'll see other murderers will be there. Feeds them to Nova.
Well, today was not by design.
No.
It was by a higher
power.
Higher power managed to make this episode happen. Because as of this weekend, Dogma is 25 years old.
Yes, and that makes us feel so old now.
Oh, does it? Oh, does it? We literally, in full disclosure, we did not plan to do this for the 25th anniversary.
No.
We just wanted to do it because it's one of our favorite films.
Yeah.
And Paul messaged us during the week and was like, did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? It's the 25th anniversary this weekend. And I was like, shit. Okay, we planned that well.
Yes. But the reason why we did plan it is because we overbooked ourselves, overreached our ability to what we can do, what we can watch. After we thought, oh, it'll be easy talking about an actor. After doing Robin Williams, we realised that's not an easy process to go through in just 1 week. And to
do it justice as well, that's the thing. You couldn't, I don't think I could do it justice with the time that we've had.
No, especially with Sammy having 79,000 podcasts guest on, starring in, showing her lovely face in, and with the charity one coming next week. Yes, the charity stream, you will be hearing a lot about this week. 12 hours, 12 movies. So to get through all that and all of Goldie Hawn's films in like the 2-week period, it was just impossible. So yes, we looked around the nerd room and saw what caught our eye, and for some reason Dogma jumped out. I've got nothing relating Dogma in here because we'll get into the marketing and like the commercial side of this movie as well. But I've got nothing to do with Dogma in here, but it just popped in my head. It was like what could be an easy film to discuss?
Yeah, and this is one of them. And it was so easy to get a hold of. I thought Ant was taking the piss when I was like, oh, I'm going to have to find Dogma to watch. And he's like, it's on YouTube. And I didn't believe him. So I looked everywhere else. And I was like, go on, I'll see. It's on YouTube because Kevin Smith has put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of people have done this. He has done this. I don't know. So I've heard two different reports on the rights of this movie.
Yeah.
The first one being Kevin has it back from the
Right.
Weinsteins, has it back. But I've heard Kevin say himself that another company has bought it. So they have the rights to it,
Yeah.
but have Kevin very much close at hand so he can promote it again. He's taking it on tour again. He's doing Q&As around it again. So I don't know which one is right.
It's one of them things. It's going to be he said, she said. I think if Kevin's coming out and that's the story from Kevin, I'll take that not as well as the movie do. I'll take that as gospel. But it's just exciting now, and for Kevin Smith, because he's got a back category of movies. Like some are very much niche films, some people will love for nostalgia reasons. This is just a very I know it sounds really. I don't want to say like Kevin Smith's a bad director. He will never make a movie as good as this ever, because this was kind of like lightning in a bottle, perfect cast, perfect round of the joking around, like the story and everything, and it had a shit demon in it.
Yeah, I can't say it. I've been saying it in my head all morning. The Golgothan.
Yeah.
The dialogue in this is pure perfection of Kevin Smith. This is uber Kevin Smith dialogue scripting. It's perfect. The aesthetic is amazing. The cast is Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
What more can you say? Alan fucking Rickman is in this film. It's one of my mom's favorites.
Yeah.
So that's got to say something, because the woman don't do this wouldn't be in her kind of wheelhouse kind of thing, but yeah. Before we get into the movie, I do have the taglines. I love a tagline, and I really love these ones. I've got a basic one: a new comic fantasy from the director of Clerks and Chasing Amy. This one: get touched by an angel.
Literally.
Yep, it can be hell getting into heaven.
That's the one I've seen quite a lot. I think that was used on the DVD cover as well. So
yeah, faith is a funny thing. This one: prepare thyself.
Oh God.
And the last one being, look out below.
Which, again, a lot of things is quite on the nose, but yeah.
Yep. The final scene itself is literally them two taglines.
No.
Is prepare thyself and look out below. Bodies are going to be smashing everywhere.
But yeah, it's I've got such a warm space in this movie, which again, it shouldn't be work. This should offend so many people because of the content. But if you look at it the way, so we'll go into what happened before, when they announced that this was getting made, and the church lost their shit.
They lost their shit before they even fucking seen it.
Yeah,
they hadn't even seen it.
No. This had petitions out of the cinema. People were standing out saying, doing a full Father Ted, I'm down with this type of thing, with the signs. To the point where Kevin actually joined one of the petitions as well.
Yeah, he give them a false name, and he went out with a picket sign, and he protested his own movie.
Yeah.
I think his friend was there as well, who he references quite a few times on his own podcast, and I'm sure his picket sign said "Dick is yummy."
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah,
is that this one? I can't remember, because the same thing happened with Red State, but it was the Westboro Baptist Church who was the protesters on that one.
Yeah,
and Kevin was very hands-on with them, as in, I'll have conversations with you, I'll talk to you, but I'm not going to have yous talk at me.
Yeah.
And one of them who we had a conversation with was Megan Phelps. And if you're familiar with the Westboro Baptist Church, she was the daughter of Shirley Phelps, who was the daughter of the leader. Megan left the church.
Yeah.
And cited Kevin as one of her inspirations in her own book on leaving, because when he was having conversations with her, it started to make her question things.
Yeah. Because Kevin,
And it,
like, for all he makes good dick jokes, he is such an intelligent and passionate speaker as
mm,
well. He'll never. But this is why I love Kevin Smith. And again, people always make jokes and say like, "I'm just a fanboy." Yes, I am a total fanboy of
oh,
Kevin Smith,
totally.
100%. Um, simply because he is passionate. He will never shit on anything. That's
Yeah.
that's where we've kind of got the philosophy on the podcast. What we do
Mhm.
is like, fair enough, we joke around, but his own mantra, he always says. People always say, "Oh, you never say anything bad." We always say, "Kevin says this is beautiful, this is wonderful." Kevin
Mhm.
cries at things. He's good. Why would I waste my energy saying something's bad, even though someone's put the work in and stuff like that?
Mhm.
It's not my job to tear them down. It's like someone's put the effort, put to tell that story. But like, bear it from me to say that shit if someone
Yeah.
else loves it. So I'll rather talk about what I love and what I'm passionate about than spending my energy saying what I hate and think. Like, it doesn't need that out there. And
No.
again, it's just such a like an absolute beautiful like present like message to give across,
Yeah.
because with the end, and I think it's quite powerful as well, because the internet is probably the most used tool across the world now to get information. Like, the information, like what people couldn't get, they can get within 30 seconds and stuff like that, even quicker if you use like AI and stuff now. um which
Yeah.
to me is just amazing. So why put so much bad stuff out there what's already there? You can add a little bit of good. But yeah.
Exactly. And that's what, and like, it kind of like it just felt natural for us not to go in and shit on something
Mm-hmm.
because of the influence he has on us.
Yeah.
And it's such a good influence to have on, and it's such he honestly is a ray of sunshine. And watching him, one of my favorite reactions of his is when he watched the Flash final.
Mm-hmm.
And he is literally from start to finish sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
That is fandom at its purest. And I am all for fandoms, even if I am not a part of them or even know anything about them. I still love the passion that
Mm-hmm.
you see come out of fandoms. And he just, honestly, he does it perfectly. And
Mm-hmm.
he's never a dick.
No, no.
Ever.
You've never seen him be rude to anyone. You've never seen him like kind of put anyone down. Like, his interviews, he always, well, he likes to talk. It's hard to get an
Oh.
interview with Kevin because you ask him one question and 45 minutes later and you still haven't got the answer because he's telling you about 15 million different stories. Uh,
Yes, yeah. So Thought Bubble, the convention, the comic book convention that we have over here,
mhm,
when it was locked down, they got Kevin Smith for an
mhm,
interview,
mhm.
which is big. It's
Yeah.
huge. And for all they have these huge names like Warren Ellis and Jimmy McCalvary, like and Gail Simone, who've been there in the past.
Mhm.
Kevin was a big name. She got one question out.
Yeah.
One question, and he ran with the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was perfect. It was pure Kevin.
No. And I would just love to, like, because I know like you can go to Elliot where he does like the Fat Man podcast. You can go in the cantina and like get tickets to like witness it and stuff as well. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that because I would just like melt and be on the floor most of the time. But yeah, he is probably
Yeah.
there's probably two people on my bucket list that if we ever got anywhere with the podcast or got to a level where we could just say have anyone, it's like Kevin Smith and Sean
Mhm.
Astin. Them would be my two on my bucket list. And I think I like say once I've interviewed them, I don't think I would be able to go on any further because I don't think anything we do after that would be better.
That's 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 just the peak.
Yeah,
That's the end of it all.
yeah.
And even talk like even with these casts, so we had a Binksy, that's not for you to play with. He's rubbing himself up against the mic, so sorry if that interferes. Um, even his cast members. So what's Bethany's real name? The woman who played Bethany.
Linda Fiorentino. I can't pronounce
Yeah.
her surname, but let's call her Linda.
Well, them two had a very strained relationship in this movie,
Mhm,
incredibly strained. She was very difficult to work with in what he said. He
mhm,
wish he cast Janine Garofalo.
mhm,
He always had a regret about not casting Janine Garofalo as Bethany as the
mhm.
main star,
Right.
because of her behavior.
Mhm,
He didn't have a good experience, and he made that very known
mhm,
in past interviews. When he had his heart attack,
mhm,
he had a complete reflection
mhm,
on his whole life, and he
mhm,
rang her up. and he apologized for everything he said. She apologized for her behavior. Said she learned a lot from that experience. He learned a lot from it, and they buried the hatchet.
It's just like a sweet moment as well, because yeah, you can. There's definitely a change to Kevin Smith, like pre-heart attack and after heart attack. Like
Yeah.
definitely, like not just looks wise, but his whole philosophy on like filmmaking life. Because that's when he just basically took everything as like his second chance, and he just went, "I'm not going to go out with this with any doubts and stuff," and he just did anything he fucking wanted.
Yeah,
Like,
and he rang a lot of, like, Jenny McCarthy was another one. They had a really bad experience from an audition that she did,
yeah,
and she was another phone call.
hmm
He recognized that maybe not everyone else is the problem.
yeah.
Maybe I have a part to play in this.
And that's a very and quite a
It's noble.
self-reflective
It's
thing.
big.
Yeah, because everyone like kind of like even in small like friendships or thing, you've got to have self-reflection. Like, and again, I do that quite a lot. Not saying I'm like holier than thou, where I try not to blame other people or like for anything. I don't know, again, not to harp back on it because we've moved on and left that like part of the Nerdy Up North saga well behind. But for still, I still reflect back and say, even though Sammy, Jake, and all the others tell us off for doing it, what could I have done differently? Is there anything I could have personally done to prevent things from happening or things from escalating to the level of things? So again, it would have been very easy for me just to go, no, everyone else is a dickhead. I'm perfect. I am Lord and Savior, cult leader. No one can question me. And hopefully, like throughout the experience with Nerdy Up North as well. And again, people can tell us I'm wrong or tell us one thing. I hope I always do come across as easy to come to, easy to talk about, easy to see, to grieve like certain things as well. Just because, as I said, it's a collaborative effort. And like I say, going forward as well, like I know me and Sammy's always in communication, but hopefully we will be more collaborative and more moving forward in directions like that again in the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Going back old school, the OG, nearly 4 years ago.
Jesus Christ. About time
Yeah.
we wrapped up and give up, I think.
No, we're just hitting our stride, man. Better belting you.
Everyone keeps on telling us I'm closer to 50 now, so I've got to keep like say who wants to be 50-year-old and doing this, but yeah.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
There you go. There you go. Kevin Smith, because he is in his 50s and he's still to this day talks about everything that he loves.
Very much so.
There's no age limit on nerdism.
See, that's
That's our new slogan.
That's a
That's
new
our new
slogan.
slogan.
Sammy's signing up for the old AP nerds now. Yeah,
And I need to, because I'm starting to fucking feel it.
but yeah, going back to Dogma though, because like I say, 1999. Like I say, this was just
the
on the
year
cusp of
I left school.
yeah, on the cusp of turning of the 2000s. What like again, even at the start, this shows you the level of humor or the level of what we were going to get from this movie because they have like the black screen, white writing, basically giving you like saying information on like what to expect. This is a joke. Please don't take this seriously. It mocks the platypus. Then another screen comes up and says,
Yes.
"I do apologize
Sorry.
for the platypus," because basically he's saying that if God didn't have a sense of humor, look at the platypus. And then he's like, okay, all the platypus enthusiasts, we do apologize. The platypus is a majestic beast.
Yeah. That's one of my mum's favorite. This is what got my mum when watching this film is reading that opening title. And just to go hark back to 1999, can you remember when you watched it? Because I remember the day I watched it.
I can't remember the day. I remember it was DVD. I didn't see it in the cinema because
I don't think it had a cinema run, did it? Or if it did, I never heard
I think
about it.
Dogma got a cinema run. I'm sure of it because that was one of the few ones that got released in the cinema. I'm sure because I know Mallrats didn't in the UK. It went straight. It was on video VHS when Army of Darkness got released because I had that like as an advertisements. But what I probably when I watched Dogma, was when I was at college because I watched Mallrats first, and I went back and watched Clerks, then I'm sure this was probably after I watched Chasing Amy. But then, like the big release was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because that was the one that, like, say, it was the cinema release as well.
Right. I remember being at a friend's house and I was going through because this is the year I left school, and I was going through
Mhm.
my learning stages of music, of
Mhm.
movies, trying,
Trying to
not
experience different things.
not everything is Ghostbusters or Trading Places.
It's quite
And
telling though,
this
because when
was,
everyone was at college was having like sexual awakening, Sammy just had a film awakening.
yeah, it was like I just had an education in movies.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, my friends, and I don't know which came first, if we'd watch Mallrats first, but
Mhm.
it was on a copy DVD, it was on a copy VHS. It
Right.
was pirate. Yeah, yeah, I was one of them people, proper dodgy up north in the 90s. And we sat and watched it, and I instantly was like, I just need to take this tape with me and never ever let it go.
This is going to stay
It
for me for
was,
the rest of my life.
yeah, it was, it was, it was an awakening
Mhm.
to how different movies can actually be, how clever dialogue can be,
Yeah.
how educational it could be, because there is a lot of truths in the. I always thought Selma, and I was thinking about this the other day on rewatch. Selma Hayek's explaining of the Golgothan when it comes
Mhm.
out, she goes into a lot of detail. But if you don't know it,
Yeah.
you don't know him.
No.
So I've totally, I always used to think that his dialogue in this movie was just, it's too over explained, like you're explaining too much. But in
Yeah.
actual fact, if you don't know if you don't know these references, you
Yeah.
won't get this movie.
No. I think with Kevin, he knows how to tell a story within 90 minutes, or like around about that point. And this is probably one of his longer ones, so it's a little bit longer than normal. And it does feel like that because, not to do the disservice to the movie, it is a slog when you do watch it because of how weighty and how much dialogue you do get in this movie,
Hmm.
because they are explaining, like, say, quite powerful or strong subject matter, and to kind
Hmm.
of like not give us that, like, feelings, or give us, like, say, the explanations behind it all, wouldn't have the same punch. Like when the movie starts, like, you've got um Loki and Bartholomew, which is Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, in the airport, and Matt Damon's character's talking to a nun and basically trying to uh destroy her faith, or test her faith, to shall we say.
No, he
um
destroyed it. He pure on destroyed her faith, especially when she's like, "What am I doing with my life? What am I doing?"
And then you've got Ben Affleck's Bartholomew, who's like a watcher angel, because Loki is, like, say, the angel of death. He, like, say, he had the fiery sword, and he brought, like, all the different plagues that God creed onto Earth. And Ben Affleck's Bartholomew is like the Watcher, and he's just like chuckling away. He's like, you've been in the presence of God. You know God exists. Why you, like, fucking with these clergy? Is getting him. And Matt Damon's just laughing away, just saying, "Yeah, I like fucking with the clergy just to see with the crack."
Yeah, pretty much. It was brilliant to have them two. They, like, obviously their chemistry is palpable.
Mm,
It's magic because they
mm,
are the best of friends. And
mm.
I don't know why, but looking at Ben Affleck on the picture you've used, he looks like Luke Perry.
Right. Well, he
I've
did.
been looking
It
at
was
it.
very much the '90s kids, though. That, like I said,
Yeah,
like,
this
you
was
had that look.
this was peak of my Ben Affleck crush.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the starting point. This and Armageddon.
Hmm.
I remember my folder for I'd just been, before I started college, I'd been to Florida, and I'd come back with a load of supplies, like ready to start college, because I'm
Hmm.
trying to start afresh, getting out of my shit show of a school.
Hmm.
Um, and I had an American style folder
Hmm.
where it was like, you see them in the movies all the time, so it's like a foldy out thing, and
Hmm.
it had pockets and whatnot. Ben Affleck was plastered right on the front of it.
Yeah. Affleck was the bomb.
Affleck was the bomb in fandoms.
Yes.
Um, the amount of slogans that I've getting out of this movie that I still probably use today.
It's I, if you think like because I know rather than like telling the whole movie because everyone either has watched it or they've heard of it. It's quite
Hmm.
a like a philosophy. Can't get the word out. You'll probably say it better than me. Um,
You'd think.
yeah, I'm not going to try it. It's quite a meaningful movie.
There you go.
We'll get that one out. Because it's about like all about God's like God's not will, but what God says, and he can't be proven wrong, so he's infallible. And if you prove God is wrong, basically it just basically time like everything in existence kind of unravels because everything is kind of hinged on God being right,
Hmm.
which again is quite a simple premise, but when you come to like all the depths of it, how you've got these two angels that's been sent a message because they've been cast away from heaven for disobeying or questioning God, even
Right.
slightly, and
Yeah, well, Loki threw down his fiery sword
yes,
because God was going through a vengeful time.
hmm
Loki was his little soldier, and Bartholomew talked him around into being peaceful and
hmm
we don't need to do this. So Loki threw down his fiery sword, and God just went, "Get the fuck out." Um, interesting fact that's just come to my head. Jason Lee,
hmm
who plays Azrael,
yeah,
was meant to be Bartholomew.
right, okay,
It was written for him.
hmm
Um, but Jason Lee had another prior engagement, so that's why you don't see him as much in this film, and why
all
he got
right.
a smaller part. But that was meant to be his role.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Because I can't see like with it probably is due to what you mentioned before, but the chemistry between Matt Damon and Ben
Hmm.
Affleck, like it's a perfect two. Because when we first
Yeah,
meet them, like Matt Damon's Loki is the arsehole angel, and Ben Affleck's kind of like the sweet one, the nice one. And
yeah,
partway through the movie, they do a switch,
yeah,
and
and
it's
it's so
so
natural.
yeah, and
It's such a natural switch between the two of them that you can see his resentment building up. The more this plan is like seeded in the back of his brain,
hmm
it starts to get where he starts unraveling.
hmm
And then Matt starts going, "Oh shit, no!" Like
hmm
he starts tying back up again. That's the easiest way to describe it.
hmm
Unravel, tying back up.
But with anything that deals with Kevin Smith, like the abundance of characters, or like let's say Kevin's friends, that's throughout this movie as well, is hilarious. But it works so well. Like I know Bethany's character, when she gets introduced, she works in like an abortion clinic. Which again, if you're talking about God, and especially with the tones and everything that's go running ripe in America now, it's quite on topic, shall we say. And
Hmm.
her faith has been tested, but she's like the last scion of I think that's right, last scion, is that right? Is that right?
She is the great, 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 great niece of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yes. So basically, if this was a Da Vinci Code movie, she would have been in that crowd of people at the end of the Da Vinci Code. Spoiler. Uh,
Yeah. Um, she's a difficult character, isn't she?
yeah.
And I don't know if this comes down to, her difficulty on set, but
hmm
she certainly she's very complex.
Yeah. It's hard to
And
like.
yes, yeah, you're right. Really hard to get on the back of, which is brilliant, which is great that she's not just the main star. She has a supporting cast around her.
Mhm.
There's my one gripe with this movie is Chris Rock.
Right.
And I usually don't have a problem with Chris Rock, but his delivery on the lines is so forced.
hmm
It's almost like cringy to listen to.
Yeah.
Um, there's something about it I can't, and I've never been able to get away with Chris Rock in this film, even though
hmm
I would never say that about any other Chris Rock. He fits in them perfectly, but in this world,
hmm
it's too much.
Yeah. I think it works really well when he's having like a tit and tat with Jay and Silent Bob. Like when they are going at each other, and like it's like almost like Chris Rock stand up versus Jay and Silent Bob being Jay and Silent Bob. But when he's trying
Yeah.
to like deliver the emotional one, because he's got like say emotional messages and he's got important
Mm-hmm.
messages as well,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel natural. Like when you've got
No.
Alan Rickman as an angel and drinking tequila and spitting tequila out, it it's one of the most breathtaking. And Alan Rickman has done so many good things, and he's so impressive in everything he does. And this is just so natural, and you can tell
Yeah.
he's having fun with it as well,
Yeah. Apparently, he was really annoying on set. So
right?
the maracas,
Right?
he didn't get rid of them, and he kept them all the time, and he would always have them in his back pocket. So he was always making a noise with these maracas to the point where the whole cast and crew were like, "We need to get them off him." But you're right. Like Kevin has talked about at length
Mhm,
the dynamic with Alan Rickman on set, because this is huge for Kevin. So
mhm,
this is a dream casting you never think you're gonna get.
mhm.
That Alan Rickman is gonna be in your movie, and when it happens, Kevin is just elated. Jason Mewes is the one
Oh,
who
yeah.
really was affected by this,
Well, no,
because
it's not Jason
Kevin.
Mewes' fault. Hey,
No, it's not.
it's Kevin being
It's
a
Kevin
dick.
who Kevin put the pressure on Jason to say, you need to perform at your best. This is Alan fucking Rickman. Like, come on, it's Hans
Did
Gruber. Pull yourself together.
the best thing that way I
Um
heard him describe this as well, because I think it was on one of like an evening with Kevin Smith. He talks about it. He pulled Jason aside a few days before. He went, "Look, we're not going to feed your lines like we did in Clerks or like in the other movies. We've got a professional British, because he used the word British actor,
mhm,
Alan Rickman coming out and said, he went, you know what these British people are like? They are ultra professional. If you fuck this up, he's gonna
yeah,
fucking kill you. He put the
mhm,
fear of God in Jason Mewes.
literally.
So not only did Jason Mewes remember his lines, he remembered the
You're
whole fucking script for
the
every
whole
single character. So, like, the worst part of it for Kevin afterwards, leading up to Alan Rickman getting there, Jason Mewes would read everyone else's lines while they're talking.
mhm. Yeah, Jason memorized everything. This is one of the rare movies, early movies of Kevin Smith where Jason is sober.
Mhm.
Because obviously Jane Silent Bob, he is fucked up,
Mhm.
not beyond repair, because he
Yeah.
does go into rehab afterwards, but you can definitely clearly see a difference.
Mhm.
But in this one, 100% sober.
Yeah.
Had to be, because he was so fucking terrified
Mhm.
of this big English actor. um but it shows this is peak Jason Mewes. This is, and I love Jason Mewes and I love listening to his recovery stories, because this guy has been through the fucking mill
Yeah.
his whole entire life. It's not just, oh,
Mhm.
he got a bit of fame and everything got fucked. This starts well before that.
Yeah.
Where his life just took went into a downward spiral. And I love Jason as he is now, but this Jason right here
Mhm.
is how I like to remember him.
Yeah. Because when you see like like the problem is with this movie, hopefully now, as Sammy said, with the rights changing over, we'll
Hmm.
get more stories, more things like extras, because we get very little. Because if you try now to get a Dogma Blu-ray or Dogma on
Hmm.
DVD, it's very difficult to get your hands on
Yeah,
um because of where it was situated and like the problems that they had to do it. Like
they
Kevin
held
had,
it. They held it ransom pretty much.
yeah, every time Kevin wanted to make a movie, he was like, okay, well, uh, well, not Kevin didn't want to make a movie. Every time they wanted Kevin to make a movie for them, they're like, okay, we'll give you Dogma if you make this movie. And I think with the experience he had on Cop Out, Kevin decided
Mm,
then he didn't want to do anyone else's stuff. He just only wanted
no.
to have fun, or if you're working on like say the script and stuff, or directing episodes of The Flash, because he knew that stuff
Yeah,
better thing. But yeah, he didn't want to like make movies that he didn't have full control over, or even
yeah.
like write, and it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. And
It
that was
was
kind of like Miramax's or
oh,
I'm
the
not going to
one
mention his name,
shouldn't.
basically saying to him, "We've got Dogma. If you wanted to work with us, if you want access to this baby, you've got to do this." And he never
Yeah,
faltered. So you've
he
got to give
never. He
Kevin his props for that.
100%. They kept this movie ransom for 25 years.
Mm,
We will now, because of, like I said at the beginning, I've heard two sides of who owns it. It could be Kevin or it could be another company who have very much involved Kevin
mhm,
in his movie again. But either way, you are going to have Q&A sessions with
mhm,
him with Jason, anyone else he can get his hands on, where you are going to learn so much more about the process of this movie, because Kevin, he'll tell you the back end of everything. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot more now that the rights are away from the devil.
Yeah.
Because they literally were with the devil. But yeah, I want to talk about scenes because I
Right.
have so much dialogue going on in my head. I've got
You
the
masturbate more than any man known that lives on Earth. I'll tell you something I don't know. Sometimes you think about guys.
I fell in love with you. We fell in love with you. Men like us don't fall out the fucking sky, you know.
Big titty naked women.
Don't just fall out the sky, you know. The my favorite bit of dialogue in this whole movie is when they're describing Sherman, Illinois.
Right.
When they're talking about the Breakfast Club, John Hughes, and it's like, do you know what? You know what we found out? It doesn't even fucking exist.
Oh, it's like, oh, just the reason I'm going as well. It's like when you watch all these films, like you got all these hot ladies. I'm not going to use the words that they use.
Yeah.
And you see all these like just losers that's pulling all those things. We wanted to think we can tap some of that, except Judd Nelson, who's is the king. So
Judd Nelson's the boy.
Judd Nelson's the boy.
Yeah, Judd Nelson's the boy, and it's we're in the cantina bar. We're in the fucked up cantina bar. I'm Han Solo, you're Chewie, and we're in this fucked up scene. I love the diner scene. The anything with Jason Lee in, actually.
Yeah.
I do really I love Jason Lee in this. I wish he was used more, and obviously I know the reason why he wasn't used more in this. But I do love him. He's so funny, and his delivery on everything is just mwah.
He does smarm so well.
Doesn't he?
Like when he's knocking on that door, is good. Have you got like air conditioning in? Oh, I can't remember the name of it called now. Is it
Controlled air?
Control air. And he's good. Oh yeah, we've got control air. And he's like, in every room's having a bathroom. And it's like nothing more heavenly or so devilish than controlled air as he turns it
It's
up.
how he smiles, and every time he comes on scene, you hear. I want to believe it's a swarm of locusts, but it's something like around. There's something around him from every time you come on, and I love that his character is so like he hates hell so much. He's an ex-muse,
Yeah.
who then becomes a demon,
Mm-hmm.
and he hates hell so much he'd rather see the world poof out of existence than to go back to it again.
But that gives the question though as well. If you were a
Mm.
demon, like not saying that you're not Sammy, because like you are the mistress of ceremonies as after all. Would
True story.
you be happy in hell, or would you want to see existence end so you can get out of like the hellhole that you're living in?
Growing up, I always said to people, if if the hell is for the damned, then how would it be so bad to them?
Yeah.
If they are damned people, why would hell be so terrible for them to live in? Because they're in the place where they are deserving. I'd rather take my chances in hell.
Right.
If Satan is anything like the one from South Park, I'm fucking in. Like,
No.
I'm in.
I'm trying not to sing the songs now.
Don't, because we've gone through a month of Anth being obsessed with the songs from that movie. No, I'd rather take my chances. I don't want to see the world go.
Yeah.
Just because I'm selfish and don't want to go back to that place.
I do have a question though for this. So how they said that, well, how they got around, well, like the premise is because God's not interfering because he's been taken out by three pricks with hockey sticks on the pier.
Had to be hockey sticks.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, it wouldn't be a Kevin Smith movie if hockey was not referenced
on the New Jersey shore. So there's a point where basically they tackle him.
Yeah.
So again, this might be just me not getting the movie. So just tell us if I'm wrong. So basically, they tackle him and beat him and put him in a coma.
Yeah.
There's a point when they tackle him and he's on the floor and he's looking up at them. Could he not have used the God powers to get out of that situation?
Good question. Now, I purely believe, because they do say that he takes a human form, or she takes a human form,
Mm-hmm.
to go and play skee ball, maybe that human form inhibits him from being able to use God powers.
And he has to die to go back to being God.
Potentially, but he didn't die, did he? He went into a coma.
Yeah, but that's when,
And
because when she goes to the hospital, she turns off the life support
the
machine
life
and he
support, and
dies.
God comes. Well, he dies. The human form dies, but she
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah.
So maybe she can't. She or possibly with her being debilitated on the floor, could not get out of the human form in order to be able to use the godlike powers.
Yeah, so I'm left in the state of not dead, not alive, totally in that coma.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she passed over, that's where shit got real and Alanis Morissette jumps out.
Who was meant to be God? It wasn't Alanis Morissette. It was somebody else.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It wasn't. It was never meant to be Alanis Morissette. It was somebody else. Keep talking and I'll find it because it was a good name.
All right.
But apparently it was too intense.
Right. Interesting. Because I think like Alanis Morissette is just the perfect choice. Like it was so.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I was so off kilter and not expected, and it was just adorable. Like one of the most. I know it sounds really weird. It was just adorable seeing her interaction and little smiley. Because you expect Alanis Morissette to be quite loud and brash, like where she sings, and just have her like silent, just walking around booping people.
Well, she's the voice of a generation. She's the voice of the 90s, and then for her to be completely silent, it was perfect. There's so many cast members we have completely forgotten. It was Emma Thompson.
All right.
Emma Thompson was going to be God, but withdrew from the film because she was pregnant with her first baby.
Right.
And that's what the reason was. But you know who? Kevin wasn't initially meant to direct this.
Right.
He wanted to write it, he wanted to edit it, but he didn't want to direct it. He wanted somebody else to have another look at it. And who was his first choice?
Was it Ben Affleck and Matt Damon?
It was not. It was Robert Rodriguez, his very close and personal friend. Robert Rodriguez.
No, I'm sorry, no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they are close. Like him, I remember watching an interview with Kevin. It was one of the three of them: Quentin, Robert, and Kevin. And what they would do before their movies, they would have private screenings for each other, where they would all sit in a room, watch their movie, and then all sit and critique it, and then go back to the editing room.
Yeah, and Tarantino need more feet. But
yeah. Need more feet. Do you know, it's only since we started doing this podcast I've learned about this foot fetish. I knew nothing. I am so innocent. I knew nothing about this foot fetish. But now it's so fucking obvious. Especially when I'm watching Death Proof and the first thing you see is feet.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. But we've
you
got
also...
to
know. So... You remind me.
So not only do we have Alanis Morissette as God, we have the late great
George Carlin,
amazing George Carlin as the
Cardinal Glick, I think it was called. Yeah,
Cardinal Glick, that's right. Who creates the gateway, the pathway to Loki and Bartholomew's plan, and also introduces us for the first time to Buddy Christ.
Buddy Christ. And you know, I thought it would be quite easy to get Buddy Christ merchandise. It's not.
It's not. I remember being in Florida a couple of years after this and seeing, can you remember the Jesus Loves You t-shirt or Jesus Saves You t-shirt?
Yeah.
I'm sure Kelly's actually got it.
Right.
Or the Mary or Jesus is my friend kind of thing. I'm sure they were huge in the early 2000s. And I'm sure Kelly has one of these t-shirts. I got one because of how similar it looked to the Buddy Christ with the...
Yeah. But yeah, I always wanted like a Buddy Christ statue and stuff. I know you can get it from the View Askew website. Well, you used to be able to, but I don't know if it's there anymore.
Is View Askew a thing now? Now that he's like, has he changed the name? Because I never understood, because View Askew is the universe of Kevin Smith. But then when it gets into his podcasting era, it changes to Smodcast.
Yeah, I think the website's the Stash, the Jay and Silent Bob Stash.
Yeah. Which is in Fairbank, New Jersey. There used to be one in Los Angeles that was run by Brian Johnson until he ran it into the ground. But he was never there.
You know what this means, though? We might get Dogma Pops
Oh,
Funkos, because I know he's big on his Funkos as well. So
yeah. Oh, interesting. I would like to see him do a lot of things because this movie means so much to a lot of
yeah,
people. This even could be a stepping mark into the Kevin Smith world for a lot of people because it was very highly commercial. It was a production, so there was money behind it.
it's an easier one to watch. It depends. It will test like your moral, like not morals. That's wrong to say. Just because with the subject matter, people will probably be a bit more standoffish and say, "Oh, I don't want to watch a film that's either about God or taking the piss out of God." When it, to be honest, the premise of the film is about like relationships and growing and like all that, all the fun stuff,
Yeah,
But probably the best
it's not.
gateway into, and again, it's probably the one that will lead anyone is Mallrats, I would think. Um,
I would think I would like to think that that's the first one I watched, but I can't be. The memory isn't there to say that it is or not. But I would like to think that that was what I watched first before I watched this.
yeah,
But this is more of an adventure story. It
yeah,
just so happens to have
hmm
a religious aspect to it.
hmm
It's not the main focus of it.
no.
And to be honest, God comes out swinging at the fucking end, so they've got to be happy in some respects to that.
I just love how they portray the angels and stuff like that. How they've got no privates, and they're like, and to show you like,
They're a
Alan Rickman
Kendall?
pulling down his pants to prove because she's like worried about being sexually assaulted, and he said, "I couldn't if I want to," and he pulled down his pants and showed he's got no penis. It's just like a Ken doll,
He's a Kendall?
and how alcohol's been outlawed because of Loki and Bartholomew. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups now. Loki,
Oh no!
Loki and Bartholomew's behaviour on alcohol has then said they can't process it. So you've got Alan Rickman loving tequila, the taste, taking a shot, then spitting out the alcohol, like because it's actually
Yeah.
changes colour, which was quite clever. It wasn't just the same liquids being spit out.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Because the one
Yeah.
he was drinking was a slightly yellow tinge, and the one that came out
Mm-hmm.
was clear. I did notice this. Oh, I'm just making it up in my own head now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because when Loki chucked the fiery sword down, he got hammered and give God the middle finger.
Mhm,
And pretty much then got banished from the world. Yeah, George Carlin in this movie
mhm.
is
It's just
it's
George Carlin.
just George Carlin. There's
Mhm.
nothing so special about it. It's just they were very good friends.
Yeah.
Really
Mhm,
good friends. I know it broke Kevin's heart the day that George Carlin died, but I love the fact that he's forever immortalized in
mhm,
this. I know George is immortalized in the work he did. Like his stand-up is some of the most cleverest,
mhm.
funniest shit that anyone's ever done. He was so fucking real.
Yeah.
Like it. Oh, I do love his stand-up, but just this movie, it's like a warm little fuzzy feeling. Like he's there. He's imprinted in it.
No, definitely, and he plays a pivotal part because if he didn't bless his golf clubs, we wouldn't have, like, say, the scene where Jason Lee gets his chest caved in.
I'm a fucking demon.
But there's so much fun stuff. I know we mentioned at the start as well. The shit demon is absolutely hilarious. Like the way that comes into it and the look of it as well. It's very very 1980s like aesthetics and again practical effects done well.
Do you think the Golgothan is modeled after Kevin Smith? Because just the shape of him is very much the same as Kevin. And I know he did that with them
Yoga
yoga
hoses.
hoses. He was very much a part of the little
hmm
thingies. That was meant to be Jason Mewes' job, but he freaked out over the prosthetics that Kevin ended up having to go, fuck's sake, I'll do it myself.
But
Um
he always does use prosthetics as well. If you go back to Tusks as well, uh, like all that could have been
oh,
like special effects and stuff. But it was yeah,
Tusk is still one of those movies that anytime it pops into my brain, I question everything.
right.
How could a man do that to another human being? And the best part about Tusk is if you go and listen to the early days of Smart Castle with him and Scott Mosier,
hmm
he literally writes the synopsis and the plot for it
hmm
while he is doing the podcast. He
Right.
is literally doing it and he's taking notes and he's like, Scott, this is fucking genius. Like we need to do this. And you listen to his process of how
Yeah.
he comes up with his stories And it's so fascinating how his brain works.
I wonder if we could do that. I know we don't have one, the money to make movies, two, the ability to make movies, but we have ideas. Someone help us.
Yeah, to be honest, if it was me and
Mm.
you would have a whole monster collection
Mhm.
with Nicolas Cage as the star of it.
And have Kevin Smith as like the little sidekick in them. So Nick Cage and
Yeah,
Kevin Smith. See, we've got a cast forming now.
like the Peter Lorre of all movies. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be awesome.
Could you imagine like having like Frankenstein's monster played by Nick Cage and Ego played by Kevin Smith?
Yes.
Have the werewolf Larry the pervert played
You
by
leave my Larry alone.
played by Nicolas Cage, and the doctor who's trying to treat him as Kevin Smith.
Fuck off, that doctor is ridiculous. That doctor was ridiculous. Some of the shit that he came out with.
And he's
If
the
you,
best
if you
one.
want, if you want to know what,
Is the
if you want to
best
know what
one
we're talking
though.
about,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you want to know what we're talking about, go and watch the Wolfman episode because we do talk about the ridiculousness of that fucking doctor. He had an answer for everything and an excuse for every movement of Larry's, and it was pathetic.
So
Anyways,
is the
Dogma.
best one. No, he's the best casting for you though.
Go on then.
Nicolas Cage as the Invisible Man. Kevin
Yeah.
Smith as the Screaming Hermit.
Ah, nice one. Oh, that'd be so funny. No, yeah, but I could also see Jason Mewes doing the screaming woman.
No, he's got to
Screaming
be.
Una
He's got to be
O'Connor.
the husband slapping and saying, "Stop being silly, woman."
I do love Jason Mewes in this movie. I do. I do. The end is so pure J though.
Yeah.
Is when they tell him don't kill him because don't take his wings away from him because he becomes human. Don't then kill him because then he'll go back to the plan works.
Yeah.
And what does he do?
It gets out the machine gun.
Yeah.
But
it's how quickly he takes Bethany away. He's like, we've got 5 minutes to live. The world's about to end and you said you'd fuck me.
But that's the thing, you think he's going to be like this heroic turn. Oh, great, he's getting Bethany away to save her. No. He starts unwrapping a condom and stuff like that. It's like, oh, Jason.
Yes. Like, calm yourself down. But yeah, that scene when the wings as well. Oh my God, you talk about practical effect, them wings. But it always used to freak me out when there were nubs.
Yeah,
and
it
it
just
would still be moving.
Yeah. That was well done. But like the costumes as well, like it's an iconic bit of armor as well. Like when they're ripping their shirts off and you finally get to see them.
I love how the angels have a dress code though.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all dress the same, hoodie,
mm-hmm.
blazer, like blazer jacket kind of style with jeans. What does Kevin Smith wear now on a regular basis?
Are we trying to say that Kevin Smith's an angel in disguise? Is that's
I
the
believe
premise
he
here?
is. I do believe he is.
But yeah, like the other cast, and I know we've talked about, but Salma Hayek in this is just amazing. Was this after or before this was after From Dusk Till Dawn as well, wasn't it?
Possibly. I can't remember. I love the line when she goes, how does she know Metatron? I love the way she says Metatron. I love how she's with a very thick accent. You can tell she really is trying to make sure she pronounces every word with clarity, so she's clear. But it just comes across so adorable. I love Salma Hayek in this movie. It took me a long time to realize that her name was Serendipity.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't quite make out what they were saying when they said her name. It was like kind of muffled because there was a lot going on in the background. The gang as well. The gang who are in there with Jay. They've made us honorary members.
Well, that was the guy. I'm sure the guy who played him was out of Chasing Amy, wasn't it?
No.
Was it not?
No, I don't think so.
Let's have a look.
I could be wrong, but I love Jay's line.
I'm just thinking, the guy.
Is it?
Yeah.
The guy, the angry gay man who's not so angry or not so gay.
That's
or
correct.
Something.
He's like, oh, what's a newbie? And he's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, the line, smoke that motherfucker like it ain't no thing.
But the whole he had the whole honorary cast there as well. Like you had your Brian O'Halloran, Brian Johnson, Jeff Anderson was in there.
Walt Flanagan is
Yeah.
standing in the when Brian Johnson screams in our face, you're going to hell, you fucking baby killer. You can see Walt behind him with a little picket sign going, I'm here. Bless
It's
Walt Flanagan.
definitely, but no. As with anything, like Kevin Smith always like looks after his friends and stuff, and even if he's fun, because
Yeah.
I don't know if the falling out that happened with him and Jeff Anderson
Not yet.
before, after, not this one, but no. I know they made up later on, but again, he never really holds a grudge. But
No.
I just love his relationship with like Ben Affleck. Like that is probably one of the best like romances in movie history. Like I would say it's even better than like George Clooney and Brad Pitt at times.
It's nice that they've kind of kissed and made up because the house Kevin lives in now in the Hollywood Hills is Ben Affleck's old house. He bought it from Ben Affleck when he then married Jennifer Garner.
Mhm.
Um, and he discovered in the house that he did have a bat cave that was made from a bookcase.
Right. Okay.
Um, Affleck is that person. But yeah, and then they had a huge falling out when he married Jennifer Garner.
Mhm.
And it's only been in the last few years, again, possibly after his heart attack,
Mhm.
that they have buried the hatchet.
Yeah.
They never had bad words to say about each other, though.
No, no, that was another thing that came out. But I love his interview when he like talks about like for reboots and how he got Ben Affleck back. He literally just sent a text message, and then Affleck called him, and that was it. That
Mhm.
was the friendship back on track.
Uh-huh.
Which again, and I believe could be wrong because I know Kevin Smith as 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 basically as easygoing as he is when he talks about his movies, if any actor changes a word of his script, he flips his lid. That's the thing. He writes stuff down the way he wants it to be said, and if you change it,
Mhm.
oh, he doesn't like that. Like he said, that's where him and Ben Affleck had issues like on movies before because Affleck was like, "Oh, can we do it this way?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Go make your own fucking movie when you want to do that." That's why he went and done
I
Good Will
can,
Hunting.
and look at that. I can imagine him being very precious over his script
Mm,
because Kevin's got such a way with words that
mm,
changing them would
yeah.
then completely change the scene for him.
Hmm.
So, because he's already mapped the scene out in his head when he's doing the diet, when he's doing the scripting for it. So I could imagine that.
Yeah, but apparently during that scene where Ben Affleck's like talking about like friendships and stuff, like I think it's like a 3 minute scene where it's just Ben Affleck talking. That was pure Ben. Apparently,
Right.
like Kevin just went right, say what you want to say, and he just like went with it. And apparently that was like one of the only times in like Kevin Smith's movies where he's let an actor to say what they want because everything else is, as you said, is pinned out minute the way Kevin
Yeah.
wants to do it. Because let's be honest, he's fought through so many years to make movies. It's not been and
Mm-hmm.
always been an easy one. So everything he gets to make
No.
is like, this is my passion. This is what I want to see. And you can tell when it comes out, and this is why people like ourselves gravitate towards his movies because we kind of
You,
feel it as well.
yeah, you can tell he's incredibly grateful for everything he's got. Like
Hmm.
nothing is wasted on him when it comes down to the success he has.
Hmm.
Like in some cases, it's not the greatest of successes.
No.
In some, look at his very close friends, Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, is he kind of hailed the same as them are? To my eyes, he is,
No.
but
Yeah.
to others, he might not necessarily be.
I think it's because he's never been commercially successful. I think that's quite
Mm,
an honest thing. It's very niche and um, probably successful on the cult scene, and
hmm
I think he gets recognised a lot for the work he does now, and people are going back and watching it. I think his most commercial movie he ever like made, well, like commercial hit, well, probably the most money. This might again without doing the look, but probably the most money he probably made was probably Clerks because of how
Possibly.
little it's spent to make, but and the budgets after that. But I think
Yeah.
I think most of his budgets on his movies is only like I don't think he's done anything above 20 million.
Didn't he do Jersey Girl?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
that was
a
flop.
commercial flop?
Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm sure that was a big studio movie. Was Cop Out not a big studio movie?
that he directed it, but that he wouldn't class that as his movie if that makes sense.
Got no, it does. It does because if it's a Kevin Smith movie, it's
Hmm.
idea, directing, writing,
Hmm.
editing. producing, publishing, promotion. Like, it's everything. Kevin does everything.
So the budget for Jersey Girl was 35, but I think that might have been just for the cast, because Jennifer
Yeah,
Lopez and
but isn't she only in it for like a few minutes?
yeah, she dies pretty quick. But I think that was down to the cut. I think this the studio, like, she was meant to be in more than the studio cut her out.
Oh dear. Oh,
Yeah.
I've never seen it. It's never been something that I've been ever interested, because I've heard Kevin talk about it so much that I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to see that. I don't see a lot of Kevin Smith's podcasts these days, but I do know if anyone's a Hollywood Babylon fan, they did do a new episode recently, and it's very rare that they do them.
I wasn't. I like, just talking about budgets as well, because I've just done a quickly
Mhm.
looked up. How much do you think the budget was for this Dogma?
Oh Christ, I'm shite with numbers. If that was so 35 million for Jersey Girl, yeah?
Yep.
20 million?
10.
10.
10 million. It
Look at what he did with 10 million.
so basically 10 million, and it grossed 43 million against its 10 million budget. So again, it's not a commercial success by any means, where it's like making
Oh,
over
it's not like
100,
Avengers numbers, is it?
because he's always said he doesn't want to direct like that type of movie, because like the Avengers, because it's too much pressure. But like say what he says is a success. So he spent 10 million and made 43. So he more than quadrupled what it made it took to make it. So no wonder the film companies wanted like Kevin to keep pumping them out, because if
Yeah.
it's costing so little to make and making that much back in such a little small space of time as well, that you can understand the pressure, and like saying, oh yeah, do more, make more Dogmas, make more Chasing Amy's and stuff like that.
Yeah. Isn't he doing, what's his next project?
I don't know. I think
I don't really see him very often these days,
yeah,
I
I
have to
think
go looking for him.
yeah, he doesn't pop up on the radar as much, but normally I know they were talking about Mallrats 2, but they were going to do like a TV show. But with what happened to Shannon Doherty, he said he wouldn't make it, or he wouldn't do it again.
That's understandable. He got very close with Shannon towards the end. Not even towards the end,
Yeah, I think he was
when
always
he
quite
announced
close with a.
they had a bit of a rough time, but they eventually understood each other, and she had him on her podcast, which by all accounts was a fantastic podcast. Like, Shannon was very honest on it. But when the whole Clerks 2, not Clerks 2, but Mallrats was getting discussed initially, she jumped on board straight away.
Yeah.
Like, instantly jumped on board.
Because like these teeny comedies were coming like all out all the time, and this seemed like I say, to be, and again, not to like, might be bit my own head there, but like I say, this had its finger on the pulse a lot more than most of them. It was probably too clever. That was the problem.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because it is really clever.
Mhm.
Like, the conversations that these people are having are so grown up that it, like, at the time, when I was looking forward to doing this rewatch, because I was like, maybe I'll get more stuff. Because it's been a while since I've seen it. And maybe I'll get more stuff than what, like, my 20s brain couldn't quite take in, what my
Yeah.
41-year-old brain can actually understand.
It's just a great journey, and again, it would be amiss not to mention my favorite scene in this movie is when Loki and Bartholomew go to see the false idol, and they go into that meeting with movies. It is hilarious. The time and the way they give you just enough information as well, and how they like basically because we
You were his
see
father, you sick fuck.
we see Ben Affleck in full flow in this one as well. He's like telling everyone what they've done. He's got disowned his gay son, and like delivering the lines almost like thinking. Then comes the last one and saying, You're an innocent. You're a good person. You're a good soul." And just because she didn't say a chew, Matt Damon's wanted a full on shooter.
Bless you. Yeah. She goes, because he goes, it's the whole, you lived a good life. Big thumbs up. Like, but you didn't say bless you when I sneezed, and he gets dragged out the room. I do like that scene. The lead up to it though, where they're in the train station. This is so ridiculous. And you see the guy with a head cheese hat on in the background.
Mhm.
Obviously at the time of this being out, Al Snow's head cheese was a huge thing in wrestling, and every time I see that scene, I can hear my sister going, "Let's go head cheese." Every time I see that bloody hat. I do like that scene, and I do like the fact that it's movie. It's
Mhm.
part of Kevin's little
Mhm.
little universe. It's a connection to it in a way. I mean, Jay and Silent Bob's always going to be the connection,
Yeah.
but to have another thing as
Mhm.
well, to be like, oh, look at what you did there.
So out of
Very clever.
all the movies, I know we've probably done this a number of times, and it probably changes every time we watch another one
You're
of these
right.
movies. Out of the Kevin Smith universe, which is your
Hmm.
favorite? Would you say? Would you say because
Oh,
Dogma would be up there? I would guess.
Dogma definitely would be it's definitely up there.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed Red State.
Hmm. Right, but
I
that,
thought Red
yeah.
State was one of his strong
Hmm.
opponents. But if we're going for nostalgia for the reason why of
Hmm.
the love is there, Mallrats.
More
And I
rats?
literally just let the words come out there.
No, it's fine. I would probably put Dogma third on the list. More. It's after rewatching it, it has taken over Mallrats now, but
Hmm.
there is two films that is above it. Um,
I know one of them because I know you will die on a hill for it.
Jason Amy is just a
Yeah.
masterpiece in relationships and just in honesty as well. Though that's probably the most honest film you would ever see. Um, but after watching it last year and when we were reviewing it, Clerks 3 is just like honestly, it's you expect it to be a funny like send off, but
Return to the two funny guys, and
yeah,
it's not.
it hits you like a freight train, and it
The bricks.
leaves an impression. Well, I think Dogma leaves an impression as well, but like it's kind of like a nice feel good type thing. Where
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
I feel like, oh,
mhm.
99.
It
A
still
good
works. It
time.
still did well, but
It's a
Clerks
good time.
3.
But Clerks 3 hit me like I didn't know if I was going to be able to record
Mhm.
that episode that we did for Clerks 3 because of how actually it wasn't, we weren't doing Clerks 3 that night.
No.
I'd watched it before we did something else,
Hmm.
and I was a fucking state. I could not stop crying, even telling Anth about it afterwards. I'm just sobbing,
Hmm.
talking through it.
Yeah.
It hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't expect it.
Hmm.
You don't. Clerks 2, I love Clerks 2
Yeah.
for funny. Like,
Hmm.
you get nothing but funny all the way through that. And that's what you feel like you're going to get with Clerks 3.
No.
Nope,
No.
nope.
And I was what
He give
I
you a guttural punch.
yeah, and I was worried about Clerks 3 as well because we've just like come back after Jane Silent Bob reboot, which I know you love.
I
Again,
don't mind it.
I I've got issues just
I saw what he was trying to do.
yeah. I think my issue with that is just it was just a complete rehash. As I said, it was a reboot, so we should have expected it, but there
Hmm.
wasn't anything new or different. Where Clerks
No,
3,
no.
it was the final nail in the coffin, shall we say, to that story.
Literally. Literally. Like, there's no more.
No.
We're not coming back from it.
Mhm.
I don't I don't know if I'll be able to watch that for a very long time.
No.
I think there has to be some distance between me and that movie because it broke me. I love Brian O'Halloran. I think he is such an underrated actor. I really wish Hollywood be able to see what kind of range that he has.
Mm-hmm.
He proved everything I thought about him in that movie.
Definitely.
Everything.
So yes. Anything else you want to add about Dogma before we start wrapping up?
No, because I just end up going through the entirety of it again and just
Mm-hmm. Well,
quoting
people don't
stuff
need
because
us to describe the whole
no,
movie. That
no,
no.
no, and but that's it. Without doing that, I have nothing else, and because I would just end up quoting the shit out of it. This is such a quotable film. Like, this
Mm,
is stuff that kind of did stick with us in our college years.
yeah.
There's no way we didn't get through a time going snooch to the motherfucking dudes.
No problem. And again, I'm not going to do a rating for this movie because I don't think it's
No,
fair to try and rate this
no.
movie, because it's not perfect. But again, it's like looking at something with rose tinted glasses as well. It's aged well. Everything kind of holds up. And again, if they do a sequel and stuff, I'll just be sad that Alan Rickman can't be in it. That's always got to be the sad thing to
Yeah,
it.
that really is good because he was just to reiterate again how perfect he is as the
Mm-hmm.
Metatron, as the voice of God, how deadpan he is, how dry he is, how his delivery is just
Mm-hmm.
perfect. It's pure Alan Rickman at his finest.
Definitely. So moving from Dogma,
Yeah.
I didn't know whether I was going to discuss this at the start, but after watching it last night,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk a little bit about it. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but you'll have heard about it.
Go on.
Just because it left such an impact on us. Like honestly, I was
I
sitting
know
there,
what you're gonna say.
yeah, I was sitting there literally crying, like just watching it. Superman, the Christopher
Yeah.
Reeve story. Wow, like literally, I'm welling up thinking about it now.
I want to see it. And I know I've chopped and changed my plans this afternoon. That might be on the agenda.
Mhm.
Um, but am I going to be able to cope with it?
If if you look at it as a human being story,
Mm-hmm.
it's wonderful. It's
Oh.
just literally heartbreaking, but in the right way. And again, just talking about Robin Williams like last week,
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams is quite a big part in this documentary as
Huge.
well.
He's a huge part of his life, so I could imagine he's going to be there.
Yeah, so his like elements in that is just like breathtaking. This show, the Oscar speech that Christopher Reeves gives in the chair,
Yeah.
and the people standing up and clapping him for so long.
God, standing
It's
ovation. I remember it.
mhm,
Um, do you know the whole story of Superman? Not just Christopher Reeves, but um, like the history of the actors who have played
mhm,
Superman is quite interesting.
mhm.
Who was the original
George,
George Reeves?
George Reeves.
George Reeves.
Is it
No
George?
relation. No, I'm sure it is because it's no relation, and they had a very similar name to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find out because his story is unbelievable. I think I've
Yeah,
mentioned
you're
this
right. No,
before.
you're spot on. Sorry for questioning you.
George Reeves, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I always remember their names being exactly the same, and because
Mm-hmm.
that was the spooky part, another spooky element to it. But George was suspiciously,
Mm-hmm.
his life was suspiciously taken away from him, and there's always been a huge question mark against it. If you are interested in that one,
Mm-hmm.
watch Ben Affleck play George Reeves in the autobiography film. It is so good. But going back to this documentary, I really want to watch it. I remember us talking about it when I first seen the trailer for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's every time I think of him, I think of his son
Mm-hmm.
and how much of a wonderful person his son is, and it's such a tribute to
Mm-hmm.
his parents. Because not only did he lose one, he lost the other.
Yeah, a year after.
Fucking
Literally,
how that person.
She got diagnosed like a month. Like I say, literally it was in such a short space of time. But
Hmm.
how that family held it together.
Yeah,
There's a bit in it, and again, not it's not a spoiler, but
I don't
after
think
his
you can.
after his accident, he's in the hospital and like all the stuff going on. They tell you how they had to do like reattach his head to his body, like from the internally, because he had internal decapitation. Um,
Oh, right.
it's just horrible. But and how like say the family came round and stuff like that. He was ready to die,
Hmm.
but his wife came up to him and said, "I love you. Um, I'm here for you. I'm going to stay with
Hmm.
you. We
Hmm.
are through this," and that's the only reason why he didn't die. He said, "I was ready.
Yeah,
I was ready to let go. I was ready just to let say do it."
you can totally understand, especially the life that he had afterwards. But he still
Mm-hmm.
proved
Mm-hmm.
countless amounts of times over that just because he had this injury, it was not stopping him living. He like I said, his son is actually going to be in
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn's Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He looks exactly like him now, though.
exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's spooky, but he is such a testament to his parents,
Mm-hmm.
especially the way he conducts himself now.
Yeah,
He is fantastic. He's such a lovely person.
But
I will
just
watch
like
it.
the little snippets going back, like I know he was always after his father's approval. His father wasn't proud that he was Superman and stuff like that. He was quite embarrassed by it. That was the way he described it.
Oh,
But like one thing that did hit home last night, and I did not know this because I love Christopher Reeves and stuff like that, and I followed it, but I didn't know before he passed he was gaining movement in certain aspects. He was moving his feet, he was moving his fingers again. He was in the
oh
swimming
my
pool where
God.
he was starting to move,
Yeah.
and
Oh
that
my God.
yeah, and
D-
just if you're gonna watch one documentary this year, I I can't like be prepared. It's not gonna
mm,
be an easy watch. Like I thought the Michael J. Fox one was gonna be hard. This was 10 times
I
harder.
can't do that yet.
Yeah. Like
I can't watch that yet.
I literally like last night just sat there in silence, just tears rolling down my face because I was like,
Oh, Paul,
yeah.
it's your birthday
I
weekend.
don't care,
But
but it's just
no,
amazing to watch and like
I
yeah.
I remember when I saw the trailer, I instantly messaged you and you were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I've known about this." And I was like, "I am so looking forward to watching this, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to be afterwards."
It's
That's
yeah.
my issue with the Michael J. Fox one. I don't know how I'm going to be afterwards, so I'd rather put that on the back burner for now
Mm-hmm.
and wait a minute.
I think the Michael J. Fox one, it's just his attitude and his thing that kind of you kind of smile through it, even though you shouldn't. But this one, I'm glad I didn't see it in the pictures. I know it sounds weird saying that, just because I don't think I was emotionally like I would have just been sitting in the pictures like and not be able to move. But honestly, at like last night when I watched it, I couldn't look away, couldn't take anything down.
Yeah,
Like the man, like say like the what he went through, what he did, and how he lived, like not just his life before the accident, like after the accident, before. He's
yeah,
just a testament, like of what, and again, try not to get emotional. He is a testament of what a hero is.
yeah. Oh,
Mm. But yes.
oh. I will watch it. I will watch it, and hopefully, to be honest, I might have to go on the back burner because we have a big weekend next weekend,
Yes, we do. Yes, next week
and
is,
I have a certain movie that I need to watch.
and you're gonna love it. You're gonna be your new favorite movie
Do you
of
know
all
what's
time.
do you know what's going to be hilarious? I probably am. Something's going to click in as while I'm watching it and go, "Oh, what the fuck? Why did you hate this so much? Why did you hate this so much?" And I bet you it happens.
Mhm.
I'll put money on it.
But yeah, so next weekend, if you didn't already know, if you haven't been made aware of, we are doing 12 hours of movie reviews, 12 for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. We will be posting links all over the place to donate. Again, get involved, be a part of it. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to have a laugh. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about some amazing movies, some terrible movies, and some just for the crack. You'll see some familiar faces. So anything that you guys can do to support and like share along, like please get involved and like say, just have a laugh with us. That's all we want.
Yeah, it's a great cause. It's a great foundation. Please go and
Mhm.
anytime that I put any posts up, I will put links to the Sophie Lancaster Foundation so you all know where your money's going to. But it is great. It will hit a home for a lot of my friends and a lot of people that are within the Nerdy Up North community.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're gonna review and talk. Well, not talk about,
Talk about.
talk about, talk about movies that we chose
Mhm. Just
randomly.
we try to make it as fun as possible. We thought, like as I said, some because I know Sammy loves a big monster film, so we talked about um, the Meg. We've
And
got
I didn't actually pick that one.
no, I thought it would be fun because I think a lot of people give it shit, and I think it doesn't deserve the shit it
I
deserves.
love it. I
Uh,
love it. I think it's such a great modern monster movie. We have two Star Wars movies.
Technically
One
three.
good, three. Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, you're right. Technically three.
Mhm.
Um, and they actually coexist with each other.
Yes.
Ah,
Mhm.
that wasn't by plan, by the way.
No.
I I picked Phantom Menace for obvious reasons.
Mhm.
And Paul picked Rogue One because it
Mhm.
is the better of Star Wars movies of recent,
Mhm.
and I pick fanboys
Because we're all
because I think
fanboys.
fanboys is the epitome of what we do.
And Sammy hates
Um,
Trek.
I've got no comeback. I'm so sorry. I did like First Contact.
Yes,
I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
cool.
But yeah, I forgot about that. We don't hawk Trek in here.
So yeah, we'll be putting the list of movies and like the times and stuff as well this week. So and the people who will be involved in on that them episodes as well. So again, just get involved, like join in with us. That's what we want. We
Have
want the
fun.
community to have fun and have a laugh, like we did on the quiz the other night. So thank you
Yeah.
everyone that was a part of that. I still need to sort out the prizes and give them to
Yeah,
people.
well done to Sarah Peach. Whoop,
Yes,
whoop.
for being the ultimate nerd, and well done for Kelly and Sarah for doing well in the Goonies round as well. Because I made them questions hard.
I was so bad. So bad. I was like, it's okay. We've been doing this for three and a half years. I've got this. I've reviewed it. We've talked about it at length. I knew jack shit.
But yes, and Dan was happy with her picture at least.
It was a good picture.
Yes.
And it was a great movie to pick from, which again is on the list for the charity stream.
So 4 Star Wars movies.
We've really gone with a theme here, haven't we?
Yes.
And not intentional. It's Spaceball's my pick.
Yeah. You changed it because you were going to pick the Hunger Games. I thought it would be much to do 3 films.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. We will. That will be a future episode, though, the Hunger Games.
Yes. And what's happening tomorrow night, Sammy?
Tomorrow night we're going festive.
Mm-hmm.
We're going turkey festive. We're celebrating Turkey Day, well, American Turkey Day, with Thanksgiving. The I can't think of the year off the top of my head. It's recent, 2023? 2023?
Yeah, I think it was last year or the year before. Yeah, that might have been last year.
But Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which is based off the Grindhouse movie trailer that he did back in the day. Great modern day slasher. I mean, we have our nitpicks about it, but you know, it's.
I thought it was enjoyable. Turn your brain off and just have fun.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And why don't you do that tomorrow night at 8:00 on YouTube? Turn your brains off and come and have fun with Monsters Up North.
Dan,
that was a great segue.
Yes, the Mistress of Ceremony and Dan from Blade and Marvelous. Yes,
yes.
Given all the horror scoops, horror knowledge, and just random shit to have fun with, which is always fun. But
a few tangents, maybe. Possibly off me. It is the second off last episode though, because we are due our break for Monsters Up North. So there's this Monday and then the following Monday, and then we are not back again until the 13th of January. There is a reason for it, and that reason will come apparent when that episode gets revealed.
So if you've got any pictures or ideas you want to fill Monsters time slot,
you've only got it for a short period.
Sammy would kill us,
yeah. The audio for this episode and any other episode that has been associated with Nerdy Up North will be available on Tuesday from anywhere you get your podcast from. If you are on YouTube, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And drop a comment in the comment section. Drop it in the box right down below. Let us know what your favorite Kevin Smith movie is, what's your favorite scene from this movie, and do you have a favorite quote from this movie? Let us know. I'm interested. I really am.
Snoochie boochies.
Oh.
So yes.
Like it.
So yeah, so thank you everyone who's listened. Sorry we're not live. Hope you enjoyed the recording. I will catch up with you in the future when we've got a lot more things to come. Too many things. But yeah, so same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.